I'd like to introduce Julie Gratz. Julie Gratz is a director, animator, and artist who lives and works in Brooklyn, New York. She grew up painting, dancing, choreographing, so animation and augmented reality has become a beautiful culmination of all her training and experience. Julie is the co-founder and executive director of Collide Studio, a video and animation studio that specializes in film, music, documentary, and augmented reality projects. Their award-winning work has been featured in Vice, The Creators Project, Tribeca Film Short of the Week, Great Big Story, CNN Films, Aeon, Vimeo Stoppics, Choreoscope International Film Festival, and Art of Brooklyn Film Festival. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Micah Milner. Micah 404 is a New York-based VR artist and member of the collective Art 404. He gained notoriety in 2015 as a 2D illustrator for his Instagram project, Micah Milner. He has since jumped headfirst into VR illustration, becoming one of the most active VR painters in the community. Partnering with brands including Adobe, Pantone, Google, along with nonprofit organizations such as Oculus for Good and Moral Fund, he continues to be a voice of change and an innovator in his field. Thank you. Will Roberts. Will Roberts is the founder and creative director of Augmented Pictures, a New York City-based immersive design and animation studio. Roberts is also the co-founder of the Virtual Art Collective, a small community of traditional artists, sculptors, painters, animators, and technologists exploring the art form of virtual and augmented reality. As a director, VR artist, and immersive designer, his longtime interest has been exploring the intersection between technology, folklore, and the human experience. Roberts' personal work fuses a highly stylized 3D aesthetic with Afrofuturist concepts, ultimately creating tangible, immersive designs and stories that celebrate the cultures of marginalized populations. While earning an MFA in 3D animation and sound art, that sounds awesome. Roberts got his start in VR as a researcher, entrepreneur, and virtual world builder in the popular VR platform Second. That's also very cool. Kira, my friend Kira. Kira Benzing is a director crossing the mediums of theater, hybrid cinema, and virtual reality. Cardboard City, her first venture in virtual reality, won the Samsung Gear Indie Milk VR contest. Following this VR film, her interactive installation for Cardboard City, combining VR and AR, premiered at the 54th Annual New York Film Festival at Lincoln Center. Her short film, Hilda, had its world premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival in April 2017 and was distributed to Amazon. Her recent film, Diptych, had its world premiere at Lincoln Center's Dance on Camera. She has been selected twice for the Oculus Launchpad program, Google's Jumpstart, and as a Just Films Fellow in partnership with the Made in New York Media Center by IFP. For the 2018 South by Southwest Film Festival, she co-organized the workshop VR Storytelling for Filmmakers. She is currently working with live actors performing in social VR with the open software platform High Fidelity, and she writes for the Medium blog Alive in Plastic. My name is Micheal Deathless. I am the creator and co-founder of Jump Into the Light. It's a VR cinema and play lab in the Lower East Side. My new project is called VR Accelerator. We're at Pier 59 Studios. We're opening a volumetric video capture studio there, which basically means we're going to be capturing moving holograms of people for use in fashion, advertising, that sort of thing. We're also doing VR, AR development work. So yeah, welcome, thank you. So yeah, let's get started. I guess we'll just go like one at a time. But so how did you get involved with VR, AR, XR art?
Yeah. So I was a 2D illustrator before jumping in, and talking to other people in the community, I sort of noticed a pattern of I call it like upper middling success, where you were successful enough to kind of feel confident to make the jump, but you're not like hyper successful. So like, you know, Maria Abramovich is not gonna spend 6 months in a basement learning tilt brush, right? She's got better things to do. So I was sort of in that zone where I was working as a 2D illustrator, and I had some high profile collaborations, things like that, but still was having a problem making a living. So once I first put on a headset, I was just like, I do this now. Like, I'm not gonna release anything in any other format just because of how compelling it was. So that's what I did. I locked myself in a basement for about 6 months and just painted in Tilt Brush. It wasn't really until Google Poly came around that people started to even see some of this stuff. And at that point, it started to pick up where I was able to start getting gigs and working as a VR artist.
I started writing an interactive script in 2012, and I didn't know what the medium was actually going to be. People were trying to figure out, would this be on the web, would it be with an iPad, how would I tell this story? And it was interactive, it was non-linear, it was three-dimensional, and I knew that from my filmmaking and my theater background that the forms that I had available to me, nothing was quite right. And it was when I put an Oculus DK2 on my head that I realized, sort of like Micah, like, this is it, this is the medium, this is what I've been waiting for. Now I've got the technology, I can finally tell these stories. And ever since then I knew that this is the technology that I would need to do everything that I've been dreaming of.
I think like at my start, it had to be like around 2010, 2009, something like that. Just working as an animator. I wanted people to be in the worlds that I was making. And it was kind of hard to me to just like, okay, I'm gonna make this thing, they're gonna watch it, but I wanted them to actually be there. But that's when I got into Second Life and started making just like these, like, what do you call it, story worlds that I call them. So like people can live these stories out in these virtual worlds. And I started to work for Linden Lab and doing a lot of different things like that. So then from that time until now, like I worked in visual effects, animation, UX, and UI design for websites and apps and things like that. And so I feel like from 2010 to I will say 14, like my skill set has been groomed to be in this medium, from a fine artist to like a person that tells stories, and also having a background of African studies and trying to just kind of mold those things together. That's kind of how I got into it. And it's like Micah, Tilt Brush. Tilt Brush to me is like the paper of VR. Like who would invented paper? So it was like I put the headset on, I was okay. This is it. And ever since then, I've just kind of been madman. Doing that.
So I actually work in AR, not so much VR yet. So I started an animation studio in Bushwick like 5 years ago. So I've been animating for a very long time, but just this year I fell into AR because in my building there's a tech production studio, and they were like, you should try out some AR stuff, we could probably get some clients with it. And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, like that's too complicated. But just letting it sit in my brain for a few months, and I started making these pieces just as personal pieces for Instagram, because I'll work on like a client project for a year and it doesn't come out, and it's really frustrating. So these were just like really 2 to 3 day projects that I could put out, and then I realized that they are also perfect for AR. And since starting this project and getting like 15 other animators to do AR artwork with me, it's really been mind-blowing the response that we've gotten. And I'm so excited about it now because I think that for me it's perfect, and for a lot of other animators and artists it's also perfect because it's really allowing like multidisciplinary artists to share their work in so many different ways, because like this is a physical art piece, but then there's like a whole other layer behind it that we can share that you wouldn't really be able to share otherwise. So it was kind of like a slightly slow burn, but now I'm incredibly excited about working with it, and I want to also start working with like augmented reality installations, and also I really want to get into VR as well. I just like haven't had time. There's so much to try.
Have you tried the Tilt Brush?
I tried it once. I haven't used VR that much because I just I like haven't had the time.
Yeah, we got you.
Come by the basement. Come by the studio. I got a spare.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you guys mostly using Tilt Brush. Are you using any other tools for your art?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So like Tilt Brush was like the one that got the ball rolling. So Oculus came out with Medium. So now like I'm using Medium, Tilt Brush, Quill too. So like Quill is a painting tool, but also you can do animation. But I kind of use them for all their scripts. Tilt brush is really quick. Medium, you can do. Quill, you can do a lot of animations, but it's more like cycling animation. So I'll use Quill for more like visual effects. So just kind of animated effects. So things exploding, things moving like water, things like that. Medium is kind of like the sculpting tool. Like before getting into XR art, ZBrush was my thing. Medium is like the ZBrush in VR.
And are you importing those other tools into Tilt Brush, or are you just using them separately?
Well, I'm actually using them all separately, and then using Unity to bring everything together.
Okay. How about you?
Same.
Yeah, right. Okay.
He's pretty much all.
Right.
That runs the gamut.
Different for me.
Yeah.
I use Unity. That's probably a base for a lot of us. I would guess Unity and Unreal, the game engines. But from a filmmaking background, I use a lot of 360 videos, so I'll do different kinds of camera rigs, from the Canon Obsidian to most recently I use Google Jump's Halo rig, these stereoscopic camera rigs. I'm doing some volumetric work right now, and then everything we'll bring into Unity. When we're editing 360 video, we're taking that into Premiere, which probably any of you who makes films already has, and that's an incredible tool. Adobe's adopted a really great program, so that's really useful. And then the AR side, when I make AR art, I've used a couple platforms. One is called Vuforia, which is also Unity based, and another is called HP Reveal, and those are image-based recognition platforms, and they're really easy to get using. You just take the image that you want to be using and you connect things in the platform. They've already done the scripting for you.
How about you?
So I feel like I'm very different because I haven't done any of the really technical side of things yet. I'm using a free app for artists called Artivive. So to make these animations, I use Photoshop and After Effects, and I think that the reason that these pieces and also our shows that I've been curating, the reason they've been so successful is because the art is so strong. So all of the other artists that I've brought in are like, what they make is so mind-blowing. So I just haven't had the opportunity to try other things. I've met with a couple programmers because we wanted to make a specific AR installation for this animation festival a couple weeks ago,
Right.
and didn't end up having time. But I feel like for now, for me, I'll stick with this because I know exactly how to use this. I know that I can put a million different video files for all of these single leaves, and at least what I heard about Unity is that you can't have too many video files in there, which would restrict my animation style. So I kind of feel like I don't want to restrict the animation style so much. I don't want to simplify. So it's an interesting restriction that I haven't really tried to deal with yet.
Right. And I assume what the platforms the AR folks are using is mostly like cell phones and iPads. Is that like the delivery? And have you thought about or have you looked at like the HoloLens or Magic Leap or anything like that? Or what do you think? Have you tried? Has everybody here tried Magic Leap?
Oh, yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, I've tried.
You have, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think as far as using that as a platform for art?
I think it's like it will be at some point a platform for artists, but I feel like in the near term, like phone-based, tablet-based things is going to just kind of the gateway drug into that.
Right.
Not there's anything wrong.
Totally. Yeah, because like there's another platform called AR Studio that Facebook makes. You can pretty much like use Facebook Messenger as like your Unity or as your Vuforia, and it's super easy. It's like layer based, just like Photoshop. So you can pretty much you can attach an image with a 3D model or an image with video, or you can even do like it's super like artist friendly. There's no coding involved, and if you wanted some interactivity, it's like node based. You just kind of like clicking nodes together, and that's how we operate. Our brains operate in like that visual sense.
So you don't have to be as technical. You can just focus on your creative skills.
So,
So one thing, as far as like the AR conversation, I was just in Kansas City of all places doing a very client gig. It was for Humana Healthcare and Walgreens, and the target demo was like 70-year-olds. So that's always the test, right? You always like ask yourself when you're building UI or like experimenting, like, will my grandma understand this? So in this case, it was like literally my grandma was the key demo. But they wanted, it was for a PR company. And so they wanted to build up some hype, so they wanted to use AR. So I was taking quill animations and displaying them in Walgreens parking lots, putting up an exhibit each morning, showing like stuff that was on brand for them. And I did find that the iPads was a great delivery point because everyone understands what an iPad is, how it works, and it wasn't intimidating at all. And I think that when people see the VR headsets, either they love them or they don't want to go near them, and too many people love them to see them, you know, you run into all those things. So I do think having multiple iPads as a stagnant install, you remove the need for downloading apps. That's always the hard part with AR, is convincing people to spend the 35 seconds to experience like a new world, right? So you have it preloaded, and we have one iPad per piece, and it worked out great. So that's a format that I'm going to replicate moving forward. It's a little bit tricky to get your hands on the iPads. You got to have a partnership with a local brand, but Samsung's great. In this case, we got them through the client, but the Samsung store down in Soho, I know does partner with artists. So if you have a proposal and things like that,
right. And so it seems to me that all four of you were artists before you got into XR or AR, and so has XR or AR, VR, has it changed your approach, like to your process, the way you think about art, and your intentions, I guess?
For me, not so much. It's changed my lifestyle entirely because I'm spending probably more time in a headset than out of one, because I'm working not so much as VR as my release point, but it's my creation point. So I'm spending 5 to 8 hours a day inside VR, and I'm staying sane. So that's the good news.
Are you really? 5 to 8?
Yeah, definitely about 30 hours a week at least.
Oh my God.
Sometimes, I was doing a piece. I wanted to time with the finale of Game of Thrones, and I spent about 70 hours in VR that week. And then I found out that I had the
Vive? Is it the Vive?
It's the Vive, and
okay.
But yeah, I found out I had the date wrong, and I actually had like 3 more weeks to create that piece. I did it. I did it with a partner, so we were just trading off. He would get off work and come over, and then we would trade off headset, because there's still not collaborative workflows in Tilbrush. So he would spend 30 minutes in, and I would spend 30 minutes in. So he was not happy with me at all. I was just happy to get it done with. But I did have to take a break. It was like muscle strain. That's the biggest drawback, is the weight right now.
Are you sitting down or are you standing up?
I'm mostly sitting down now.
Okay.
I used to stand up, but yeah, that's
So old.
But I will actually sort of stand up, sit down, use different chairs and things like that, because just like anything, repetitive motion, staying in the same location, you get crick. So yeah, I have a little like padded neck brace that I'll wear sometimes if I'm having to put hours.
You're like I've worked with a lot of VR artists, and you are the most hardcore.
I'll have friends come by the studio, and I'll forget that I'm wearing it. I'll just be wearing the neck brace, and it's intense. Like there's like a vibe that a neck brace gives. It's like, dude, you are about to die. Put that on, and it's not that serious. It's just muscle strain. So it's not like I'm in intense pain. It's just that, basically it's like holding, so my neck doesn't have to do any like muscle work. But I'll just come over and I'll be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And I'll forget that I'm wearing it.
You should sell that as an accessory.
Right?
Oh my God. I don't know, that might hurt their overall brand.
But I think as we start to get kind of deeper into it, there are going to be industries that open up. They're going to be just like that. Somebody's going to make a neck brace. Somebody's going to make some kind of wrist thing for artists. Somebody's going to make some kind of knee brace thing because sit down and standing up. I think that's totally gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
It's totally gonna be a thing.
So I go back and forth between sitting and standing. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm editing, I'm sitting because I'm taking the headset on and off. There's a new tool coming out that I'm actually really curious about called Pixvana, and that will allow you to edit in 360. I think that's like, so what I'm excited about is that I think a lot of us have been talking about the kinds of tools that we already use, Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere. These things will translate, but then the other really exciting thing is that we've got these new tools being made like Tilt Brush and these other 360 editing platforms, so that there's so much discovery going on. So if you've got a pipeline that you're worried about, like, well, can I use this? Yes, like take what you know and bring it into the medium and mess around. And then at the same time, learn something new, because there's all of these great new tools that are being built for this medium.
Yeah, kind of going back to what Michael was talking about, how it kind of changed, like XR art pretty much changed my motivation of making art. So like, now that I know that I can make a world that people can step into, and they can like be somewhere and live something. Like, what does that content mean? Like, what is it, like, what do I want to imprint on their brains? So like, that's the power that we have now.
I feel just when you're stepping into art, and I feel like this is like the biggest paradigm shift. I don't think it's really been recognized by the rest of the world yet. This is the biggest paradigm shift in art that's happened since maybe like photography or something like that. This is like, you're stepping into the art. You're like creating art all around you.
Yeah. So me being up 3 o'clock in the morning working in Tilt Brush, I found myself falling asleep inside of my art book. So you fall asleep, and then you wake up. So you're almost being like awake in a dream. So you don't know, am I asleep or am I dreaming? Or am I awake? So then you gotta actually take this, okay. Let's go back. Let's actually go to sleep.
You thought you got sucked into the machine.
Oh, like Tron. That's totally like Tron. Like, you wake up like, oh man, all right. Yeah, but it's my own creation. So then like if I have a physical dream, I can go paint my dream and then share it with somebody else. Then they can experience what I just dreamt. That is like, there's no medium on the planet that can do that.
Yeah, and
like,
sorry.
I'm just preaching over.
Amen.
I was gonna say, I was thinking about it this morning. Like with animation, I've been telling, clients and people forever that like anything that you want to do with your film, we can animate it. Like, you can do literally anything with animation, anything you want to show. So if you combine that with this technology, the possibilities are actually endless. And I've only been working with these flat 2D images, and I can, and already, this is so exciting for me because this is the first time that I've really been able to share what I really want to be my personal work, because I've done paintings before too, but I'm also a motion artist, so like a painting doesn't really say everything I want to say. And with this, I absolutely can say everything I want to say, and it's perfect for me, and it's perfect for a lot of other artists because we do have multiple areas of expertise, and so now we can finally bring it together. So like I right now have so many ideas that I want to execute, and I just don't have time yet because like everyone's so pumped about this, which is amazing. But like the next thing I'd like to do is make obviously more of these, but also combine that with painting. So maybe make a larger print, paint on top of it, and then you can still activate it, and like combining all of these things. And also when I've been showing these in art shows, like we'll have like it looks like a regular art show, everything is in frames on like 2 gallery walls, and people come in and they're like, oh, this is cool, it's a nice little print show. And then you get to like blow their minds because people just walk in thinking it's whatever, and I can hold up my phone and then seeing the reactions of people. I would say 99.9% of people have not seen anything like this before. So being able to be the one who shows it to them and see their reactions has been so gratifying.
And so I started Jumping the Light like a few years ago, and I put so many people in headsets for the first time. And I really like, it's frustrating to me that like VR hasn't really taken off yet, because people love it, right? They love VR, they love AR, and it's like, I feel like Oculus and HTC are not doing a good enough job of getting the word out there. They're not presenting it to people and they're not curating this stuff well, is what I feel like. And they're putting people into stuff that they gives them motion sickness or something like that. But like people love it, right? I feel like it's a little frustrating that it hasn't taken off.
Yeah, I also think like AR will be the way that people get into VR.
Sure.
Because like at least for our shows, like we haven't had the budget or anything to buy iPads, so everyone just uses their own phone, and I actually think that's been really great for us because it's.
Are you having them download apps or?
Yeah, and everyone
okay.
does it because they'll see someone doing it and they're like, oh my god, what's that? I gotta
And
do
they'll
that.
download it right
They'll
there.
download it, and then it's also their device, so they're used to their device. You have an intimate relationship with your phone. So if I let them loose on this room with their own phone, then people are going around and activating and watching every single one of our like 30 prints because they have the time and the space to do it with their own device.
Right.
And I feel like that is the way that they could get into VR.
Yeah.
Because putting on a headset is like honestly putting on headsets kind of stresses me out because it's like I don't like not being able to see things. So yeah, and it's like a comfort thing. So I think that this, using them together and like maybe doing, at least for me, like doing shows that are this kind of AR, an AR installation, and then also VR would make a lot of sense because then it's like taking the baby steps into it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the headset that's like those little glasses you just flip down, flip up. It's
Yeah.
like you could whenever they were talking about mixed reality headsets, I think that was a frustration. That's what comes to mind is that whether it's a camera or whether it's a semi-transparent screen, something you can see through, but then just like sort of click in and it goes to full. The screen goes opaque, and you're in virtual reality. I think that's where you can get basically where we are with the smartphone now, where everybody's used it, everybody has access to it. Until that point, I agree, it's very intimidating, and you're kind of a spectacle. So there's a lot of people that are just not going to try it, and not going to spend money to try it. So maybe they might try it in the public sector, but even when you get the price point way down, it's still not going to be something they'll feel comfortable with unless it was incorporated, something like the next 2 generations of Magic Leaps away, maybe.
Yeah, augmented, I feel like people will be more comfortable with it because they can see folks around them.
Right, you just click. I like the flip up, flip down that Microsoft has on one of theirs.
Yeah, I think it's that too. And I also think it's just the messaging. Kind of go back to the messaging. So like you'll see people on Facebook or see people on Instagram, and the person with the headset on, he's the spectacle, and that's the ad. So like VR is the stuff that they're watching. So it's like it's not the headset. Like VR is not the headset. That's just the way to get to what we're trying to get you to see. So I think at some point we're gonna have some kind of what they call mirrored worlds. So like a mirrored world is where like you put the headset on, the actual environment that you're in virtual reality is kind of sculpted to your real world. So the chairs turn into rocks. There's rocks in your virtual world. There's chairs. So you sit on the chair, but it's actually a rock in your virtual world. So I think we'll see that type of stuff. So like the augmented virtual reality we're talking about. So like augmented virtual reality becomes like the transparency mode that we can turn on. When we turn on that transparency mode, it should be okay. He's like now you can see through it. Now we can just start mapping out this world and putting things into the world. So I feel like that stuff is coming, but like people starting to look at I want the perfect headset. Like right now we don't have the perfect headset, so we don't work with what we have right now. So we're gonna give y'all this.
To your point on the messaging issue, though, it's just one of those things. It's extremely hard to describe without actually showing people. It reminds me, if you've ever seen when they try to advertise like a new television that's like sharper than the one you're watching. They just like show you footage from the television. Like, we can't show you how sharp this is because you haven't bought it yet. And it's like on this last generation television. Like, no, that footage looks exactly the same through my television. Like, why would I? So it's like very hard until they like show up at Best Buy and like look at the two next to each other. So I think we're running into that because when you look at like screen captures, it just reads as 2D information. I think 360 film is, again, another entry point, but without 6 degrees of freedom is really where the content sort of like, you see a skyrocket of like, where it takes off and people are doing things they've always dreamed of doing inside of content. And it's just really hard to get people there. And describe it without having them in it.
I think it's because you get that brain-body connection, and in the 6 Degrees of Freedom experience, you now get to walk through that experience. You get to pick up the virtual cup, which is really a fiery goblet. I mean, it is that next extension.
Yeah. Have you guys tried the Void or anything like that, or the Dreamscapes, where you are actually picking something up and it turns into a torch? Have you tried it?
Oh yeah, like those are going to be a huge thing.
Yeah.
Massive.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of artists out there that probably would be interested in getting into XR, AR, VR. What do you guys think is the easiest way for somebody to like dip their hands in?
I would head down and jump into the lake.
Yeah.
Honestly, no joke. I really do recommend either that space or there's other spaces like it. But I do know a number of artists, including one that I collaborated with on that Last Pint gig for Glenn for Movers and Shakers.
Oh yeah.
Artist in residence over there. And another, because that's the hardest part, is the getting over. You're not just going to go out and spend like $800 on the computer and the headset, right? And just to test it out. So there's a lot of spaces available that you can just go over and try them out, see if it's for you, and then even get more intensive with a residency program. The technical side of it, it's just you fly through it, and that's sort of the gift and the curse of VR tools right now, is they're very much geared for entry-level people. So when you get past that, there's a cap and it gets a little bit frustrating as to what you can do, but if you're entry-level, it's beautiful because you're going to be able to pick anything up, and the apps that are on the market now are about as easy to use as your average app on a smartphone. It's just extremely, especially like if you're starting from Tilt Brush or you're starting from blocks, you're going to be able to pick it up and understand it within minutes. So just head out and try it, see if it's for you, and at that point, it may be worth the investment to just go ahead and get the headsets.
And well, you've done a bunch of 360 stuff. So what do you suggest?
So it's not hard to get into 360. I mean, there's a lot of cameras that are really inexpensive. You've got the Ricoh Theta, the Gear 360. I wouldn't shoot a final project on that. Like, I don't know that that's the way to make your final delivery.
Right.
But I use those cheaper cameras to do my blocking, to do rehearsals. I hook them up to more expensive camera rigs, and it's just to start thinking about your story in this kind of spherical and spatial way. It's really helpful to just shoot something, because you'll find that you're concentrating your focus in one area, and that you're missing other parts of the world that you want to be building. So if you're thinking in a narrative way, you can shape the space, and if you're covering a documentary, you're thinking about, well, what's interesting that's happening all around me, so I can guide, or do I just want to be focusing the audience's attention in one area, because that is the main point, but the rest of the world at least shapes it and gives them context. So I think it's just helpful to just grab a tool and start working with it. Unity, is a game engine that we're all talking about. That is free to download. Like, you don't have to have an expensive membership for that. And there's tons of tutorials, and the forums for developers are really supportive. It's a good place to start.
Yeah, I think they covered kind of the gamut too. Like on a technical side, from like the 3D modeling stuff. So I would want people to learn 3D space. Because like coming from like a 2D background, like my first time seeing 3D was I was walking in this computer lab and this kid had like a model of some kind of, actually I thought it was a 2D thing because I'm coming from Photoshop. So I just saw him like tilt this model. I was like, what is that? Like, things can do that? So I feel like when you learn 3D space, you learn how these things are made, from like the texturing to lighting to the topology of things. So kind of the surfaces. I think like learning that stuff too can help you. Yeah, man, just gotta dive in.
Yeah, at least for what I do, using the AR side of it is like outrageously simple. At least so like what we're doing, I think the content is the hardest part. So if you do animation or video, like you can do these kind of prints with video as well. So all you need to do is make the content. So with this app, and then I also use another app called Soundwave Art, both of those groups of people are super nice and responsive. So if you email them with any questions, they're down to help. But all we need to do is you upload an image, which becomes the QR code, and then you upload the action, which is a video, and the video could be actual video or it could be animation. And for mine, I'm the one who's making the decision to make them look like paintings, so it's more confusing. And then I also make the trigger be the first frame of the animation. So like I'm the one who's making it a seamless transition, but it doesn't have to be. Like this could trigger a video of like me riding a bike or something, you know? So I think if you, and also all of the artists in the shows that I've been curating had never worked with AR before, but they were all animators. So I was like, you've got the content. I'll just show you how to like literally upload it to this website and like you did it, you know? So I think that that's really exciting for anyone who wants to try it out. And the only other thing to note is that there are limitations. You have to have enough track points on your images. So if it's like too much sky or too much of like a large surface without detail, then it's not going to recognize. So you do have to play around with it a little bit. But as far as anything goes, like it's amazing how easy it is.
I'm not sure how much time do we have.
10 minutes over.
Oh, we're over already.
No, you have until 10, so
we-
wrap it
okay.
up.
So, well then,
Next session starts at 8. Sorry.
oh, okay. So, let's just close with well, what's the favorite thing you guys have seen in AR VR? What's you? It doesn't have to be art, but it can be an experience as well.
You go first.
Okay, I got a couple favorites. For me, I would say there's a 360 video I think that's really beautiful called Roan. It's about this Australian artist. He paints these murals in these abandoned houses, and you're so close to the art. It feels like you're in this sacred space. It's beautifully edited. It doesn't feel like a documentary. It's just, it's really pretty incredible. And so that's done by this Australian couple, R-O-N-E, Roan. And then another piece that I love is Dear Angelica, which was done by Sashka and Salt, all painted with tilt brush.
My favorite thing that I've seen in VR was I was in Harlem showing a kid a piece I forgot what the piece was. I was kind of looking at this kid. My favorite thing was when he came out of the headset, he looked at his mom, was like, "Mom, can I get one of these?" That was like awesome. So
I think the first VR short film I saw was a little animation called Primrose, maybe. It was like this tiny little plant, and this dude like plants a flower, but it was the first time that I like could walk around this film that was happening, and it did totally blow my mind, and I will never forget that. The Rosenet? That's what it's called.
The Rosenet. Where Thoughts Go is a new one. It's like final days before release, or it was just released, by Lucas Risotto, and he's got some friends working with him now on it. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. It got some buzz early on before it was released because he had a 20% cry rate, meaning like 2 out of 10 people would cry upon experiencing it, and it's very personal. It sort of asks you deeply introspective questions, and gives you a chance to respond, and then it takes your thoughts, it takes your voice, and records it, and it becomes part of a community, and you can, as you're going through, you're hearing other people's responses to the same
Just hold on. Just, okay.
We come into the next session.
That's it.
I'm the organizer. Just give it a sec. Okay, we're almost done.
Good. So thank you guys. Very interesting. I hope to see you guys in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.